Very nice logo, by the way.
You can see now my screen. Okay. Already a few years, I moved to Asia. My name is Alexei Reshikov, and I'm working at Darwin University, China. From my former position at San Yat-sen University, that was a quite challenge, not so much because of the language barrier, but mostly because of the specifics of the national grant system. So it's very hard to get funding for the field work, and incredible population density and attitude for getting to the nature. Simply saying that was impossible to sample any Darwin wasps. Guangzhou, the largest city in the world, and its own the largest tea market, and the solution for the field work came from the Chinese culture. I'm totally immersed in the tea culture, and I turned to the people from the countryside, and I decided, why not tea farmers then? By that time, I got enough connections, and with experience from Europe with citizen science, it was obvious what to do. And Fauna started as an initiative project, bringing together researchers and tea businesses and tea farmers. Tea plants natural range is the Eastern Himalaya, from the Assam state of India till the mountain ranges of Vietnam and China. And wild picking in nature areas is still the practice in many local communities in Eastern Himalaya tribes, for example, in Thailand. At the same time, tea plantations caused mass deforestation in Asian area and other places of the world where tea was introduced. I aim to run the long-term monitoring of Darwin wasps in both natural tea habitats and mass plantations. And the survey can allow to find the trends in Darwin wasp diversity. Both in natural habitats and mass plantations. And in a bigger scale, I want to test the hypothesis if the plantations can serve as a refuge for insects in disturbed habitats. I started in the northern Thailand together with a local Thai tea company, Monsoon Tea, that introduced forest-friendly concept when the production made in natural forest areas or agroforestry with agroforestry practices, and tea consumption is environmental activism. It's supporting the local communities, that's protecting with their business forests. And such an area, we established the sampling plot with molest traps, and these communities helping us to sample and to keep the plots in Eastern Himalaya, in local minority tribes, wild tea from the forest are used not for drink, but mostly for fermented foods. This is an example. I set up the sampling plots in China, in Yunnan and Fujian. I moved myself to Dali University from Guangzhou, which is the part of the three parallel river system of the mountains, quite steep and high mountains around. We start to sample at the territory of our university in experimental organic garden with the two Malay traps, sampling and collecting samples weekly, with two traps in the tea garden and two traps out of it in the pine natural forests. We get this sample of words through more than a year, but during latest time during pandemic was a bit difficult to work with the material, and we set the one complete year of sampling for the first work. And in Ui, Shan in northern Fujian was established another plot. So with the preliminary results of sampling, we have sampling sorted from fall of 2018 to 2019 with more than 3,000 specimens sampled from 24 families. So it's almost equal number of specimens from both the tea garden and from the natural pine forests. And the most abundant subfamily was Campopligini and Orthocentrine, with only Microleptini most abundant from the tea garden. In the pandemic conditions, we photographed every specimens to be identified and sorted. So we have photograph of our material available if anyone would join the project and would like to see the photos of particular groups. You are very welcome. And of course, it's plenty of new species coming with this material, and already few we described from the genus Selaceria and Drepanactonus. And recently we started iNaturalist project at this portal, and let's see how it will develop. People already start to upload the pictures of living organisms from the tea areas around the world. As I said before, in a future perspective, I want to see in the community structure of the family linked for the agrocinosis and see how it's differ from the local natural areas. And in future, we can connect this project for the bigger scale biodiversity projects that are going on in our institution. Particularly, we are very focused on altitudinal gradients. So as we are in the mountains and OT in the mountains, we can incorporate this data in a bigger data sets in future. If we have a minute, I can show you the beauty from Thailand. This is the nice footage with Darwin Wasp.
So this is a movie you made about this project.
This is a Chloracryptus purpuratus. This is one cryptiny species that we captured on tea, and this is actually the first record of the species from Thailand, not published yet. So thank you. If any questions.
Thank you, Alexei. Thanks for that peek that we got into this project. Are there questions? Well, maybe just quickly from me, what's the citizen science aspect? So is that mostly this homepage that you made on iNaturalist, or are you involving citizens in another way?
The iNaturalist came just recently, and potentially it can develop some valuable data set. But firstly, that's interaction with the farmers and the tea businesses and people who like their land. They want to participate and they want to help researchers to obtain the material. And in back, we not only thankful for this help. This is the that we probably can create the tools that would help the local community to work better with their purposes. Here in Asia, the economical balance it's quite fragile, and in many areas where the people access for the natural areas, they coexist. But before the bigger money came, and before these people paid from logging company or corn company any bad guys, but with their traditional lifestyle, they have a chance to protect their land. And the idea is to bring the data set to the level of bigger scale data set when we will have observations and the counting of from Darwin wasps first, from the lower diversity places like mass plantations with pesticides use, with traditional gardens, and from the natural jungles with tea picking, and then to understand how it's structured and give this scale to farmers. some landmark where to move, and hopefully the tea businesses would pay for organic tea, more expensive product, but to convert the plantation to the forest.
And not the other way around.
Oh, yep.
Great, yeah, so there's even a conservation aspect to this.
Yes.
Any more questions for Alexei? I guess you're not allowed to ship specimens out of China, huh? Under the Chinese law.
Nowadays, it's very difficult. Myself, I'm out of China and I need to come back and waiting for the paperwork processing. I'm currently in Thailand, so let's see how it will develop. But we have the photo system, and if I will be at the place, the taxonomical work or identification of particular specimens, if anyone interested, would be easier.
Okay, so stay in touch with Alexei if you want to study some tea ichneumonids, tea representatives of your wasps. Thanks a lot. Are there any questions or hints or general comments from anyone? If not, then what remains is for me to thank Jacob and Alex and Alexei and Tamara also for presenting. Thanks again to everyone. And yeah, I hope to see you in November again, in 2 months, when we have our next meeting. And please keep those talk suggestions coming. So whatever it is, big or small, if we want to keep this platform running, we have to keep presenting even smaller works, even unfinished stuff. Okay, thanks a lot for joining. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.